Welcome back to another JIVij podcast episode. My name is JERiCK.
And I'm Felicia.
And as you notice, we are on a different location.
Within the studio. Honestly, it feels a lot better in here.
Do you really think so?
I don't know. It just feels like the energy's better. Like this feels right. However
Really?
it's set up. Yeah. Feels good. Like seeing it is kind of like I want to be in here. I said like a million
interesting.
times, but
Because honestly, we just moved into a different corner of the room.
yeah.
And the reason why is because I actually moved my music stuff in here. You don't see it in the video, but I'm basically
We can see
pointing.
ourselves.
I'm basically pointing out my computer setup and my speakers.
He has a keyboard in here.
Yeah, basically all my music stuff. I decided to move it here, which I should have done a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a good thing because if I moved all my stuff here, I don't think I would have done the podcast.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, like, maybe I would have thought about it, but then
Right.
it's just like if I had all this stuff set up, maybe I wouldn't have considered actually starting a podcast.
Wow.
So I guess it kind of worked out.
I like it.
Oh
I feel like you should do some live streams in here.
yeah, definitely. I can definitely do live streams in here now. It would be kind of cool to do a live stream podcast
Yeah, that'd be cool too.
just to kind of have interact with people and then maybe they have
Right.
questions or whatever.
Or even like start just doing it on Facebook Live or Facebook.
Instagram live.
That's old.
Facebook are for
okay,
old
Granny.
people. Boomer.
Instagram Live.
Yeah, I actually trying to figure out how to do. I'm sure you can. How to do Instagram live through your computer. I'm pretty sure you can do it.
Did you Google it?
Yeah, I've looked it into before and I tried testing it, but I couldn't
Didn't work.
It didn't work. But I'm gonna have to do it again.
Well, if somebody's watching that happens to know the answer,
Yeah, please comment
Comment.
down below. I would love to. Yeah, it would be nice to actually do it on Instagram too.
nice. That's
but yeah.
cool.
It's yeah, definitely new energy. I haven't really noticed it like the way you have. Maybe because like I've been here, for the last every day for the last like
Oh,
week or so since I
good.
moved.
Love.
Yeah. I guess I would consider it as my weekly update.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Being in here, doing the change.
Yeah, and honestly, part of it too is I wanted to start doing like recording my music sessions too.
Oh, okay.
Like when I'm making music,
Oh, that'd be
just
cool.
like recording the process and like maybe me like editing and mixing the music.
Oh, yeah.
So it should be,
Just film that stuff and post it.
yeah.
Post the content.
Yeah, and it's weird because artists is so different than the content creator.
right.
Like people think like, oh, it's just one and the same, but it really isn't.
It's not.
Like the
Because-
art itself is the art, but then like content creator is you're like the marketing team.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
so true. And I ultimately still struggle with that.
And like making content.
Yeah, making content because my mind, that's not my first priority in my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm always thinking about what can I do with my camera. But it's not what can I do with my camera so I can post it and make sure I have content and then I can make videos and then make sure you like it. Like it to me that's so overwhelming. So I've had to try and navigate through that by like balancing making content just because that's the way it is. Like we got to do it, but then also trying to find a way where I still feel like myself and I'm not forcing myself to do things because man, that'd be like a fourth job.
Yeah.
Lord.
Because even me thinking about when I said like recording my process, right? It's so like it's very intimate
Right.
because like I'm trying to create, I'm just trying to just like be in the zone.
Yeah.
But then when I'm recording, it becomes like, okay, like is this interesting?
Yeah.
enough? Like there's like another element that's added to
Absolutely.
it.
That's true.
Even though yes, like I'm still gonna be like doing my thing, but then there's just like having an extra pressure of delivering, I guess. in a
No,
way.
that absolutely makes sense.
It's like you're recording yourself doing a photo shoot,
Right.
instead of just doing the photo shoot and just be there in the moment.
Yeah.
It's
And that's usually what happens. I will record myself doing the photo shoot and
like a
then look
time
at
lapse,
it.
right?
Yeah, and then I'll look at it and be like, well, I look dumb.
Like it
I
doesn't
don't like that angle.
like it doesn't, I guess, capture it in a way where it's I guess like the moment is just like not the
Right.
same.
But I think maybe that's our wall that we have to break down, because at the end of the day, who cares?
Yeah, I mean that is true.
we don't. If we're capturing content to do it as a profession, then yeah, maybe we need 5 iPhones and
Yeah.
all the cool apps and But if you're just trying to say, hey, this is how I work, this is my flow. Even when it comes to photography, it's like, well, this is what it's going to look like when you shoot with me.
Yeah.
But it's like, just post it. Like I sit on so much content because I look at it and I'm like, look at that gobbler. Or like, what the heck am I doing?
Like what?
What do you mean?
Like time lapse? Like what kind of content?
I do time lapse. I've even done it to where I've had my iPad and my phone, and so I get different angles.
Have you heard of
But I get so overwhelmed even with just the editing process. I'm like, how do I put it together?
I heard there's this app, it's called like the Final Cut.
I use CapCut.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I heard like
There's
the
another one.
Apple has this app, right? The camera app. I think they like integrate it with the Final Cut program.
Oh,
where it's usually you could do like multicam. I mean, you're already kind of doing that.
Right,
because, like,
right.
You have like 2 different angles of 2 different devices, but
Right.
I heard you can like I guess use it all in like one thing. It's
Oh, that sounds interesting. I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Because that's the other side to it too. We're just in a time where social media really can support or assist the success
Yeah.
of your business. So you don't necessarily want to, like, I don't want to necessarily turn my shoulder away from it. So again, I'm trying to find what works for me. Even if my content looks lame, I don't care. I'll put it on there and maybe somebody will pick it up on the algorithm.
Yeah, but I think it's just it seems like it's not like good enough for us because we're the
Right.
creative.
That's true. Yeah.
But then for other people, like, oh, like
You might be like, oh,
that's kind of cool.
that's how she did
Because
her
I
life.
do watch other people's content when they are making stuff in
Yeah.
the process, and I don't think it's like lame or anything,
Right.
But like for some reason when I do it, I'm just like,
That's
this
lame.
this is
You're
not
not
good.
cool.
It's like not good enough for some
Right.
reason.
That's so
But
interesting.
that's our problem, right?
Yeah, that's true. We'll make it your problem soon.
But yeah, any update for you?
Gee, I feel like I haven't been in here in a minute. There's been quite a few
yeah.
things that have
It's been a while.
taken place. One of them being I'm trying to be more aware of my ups and downs. So interestingly enough, I'm still going to therapy. And this was not in my 2024 card, but
What, you think you would stop going to therapy?
no. It's just I have a diagnosis, like just looking through the last 2 years and the patterns that I have of me being bipolar. Isn't that nuts? There's 2 different types of bipolar. Bipolar 1, bipolar 2. And
Wait,
bipolar
what?
2. Yeah, and
thought it was just one
bipolar is not what I think most people might think it is. It's not like in a flip of a switch you're a different person and you're super raging or angry. It's not that. It's your manic state and then your depression. And I think bipolar 1 is you have more, you're in that hypomanic, or your manic state more often than your depression, and then you bounce back up. And for me, I'm the opposite. So I have like weeks of depression where I'm like at my absolute lowest. And then all of a sudden, like I will literally wake up and feel like everything is fine. And so I think I think I'm fine. So I start doing all these things and I'm like, oh, this is great. Like I'm going to start eating healthy. I'm going to get this app so I can
Well, you
start
get so
working
much
out.
energy.
Yeah, I get so much energy. And then I'm like, finances, screw that. So I start buying all these things and like, I'll start getting all these packages. I'm sure my husband's like, what the heck's happening? Then I start getting into self-care again and dressing nice and like being more funny. And it's just crazy. But that'll last for maybe a week, 2 weeks. And then immediately it'll drop back. And so I'm like in this constant cycle of thinking that I'm getting better and then I'm not, because I'll have to reset every time.
What's the ratio? Do you know? Like, what's your ratio? Let's say within the month, like percentage wise.
If I had to do a ratio, it would be like 3 weeks out of the month, I'm in my lows. And then I have a 1 week high. And it differs. Like, it doesn't go by month. Like, sometimes I'll have, 6 weeks of a low and then maybe 2 weeks of a high. And essentially, I just need to stabilize my mood. So what I'm trying to do as part of therapy is try to identify, if I were to rate my low and my manic states from 1 to 10, what does a 1 look like? What does a 10 look like? And then what do all the other numbers in between look like? So I can identify like what that middle ground looks like. Because although the highs feel great, like I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Yeah.
But it's not sustainable because there are still some things or actions that I do in that mental state that are actually a little bit destructive. So it's trying to bring down my highs and make sure my lows don't become too low, because regardless, life is going to be life and you're going to feel down.
But when you're on the low side, right, you're still functional.
No.
No?
No. When I'm on my low side, I can't get up. I will not go to work. Like I will literally, I won't even like call. I
You're
can't.
like, fuck you guys.
No, I mean, nothing works. And I just like sit there, or I lay there in bed just feeling like 1,000,000 pounds is waiting or like sitting on my shoulders. And I'm so exhausted and I'm tired. And then that's when all the thoughts start coming in, like the negative thoughts. And I either binge.
Like when you, it happens like when you wake up in the morning, like right at the moment you wake up.
When I feel down?
Yeah, like do you notice it? Like, you know how like sometimes when you wake up, you're either like stressed or like really like excited?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's like no will to move from that bed of mine.
Really?
Yeah. To me, it's very debilitating because I have to go to work. I have to be mom.
Yeah.
I have to do things around the house and like I will get nothing done. Nothing gets done. Everything gets neglected. I start neglecting myself. Like I won't drink water. I won't it just goes out the window. But
where are you at today?
Today,
are you in the high or the low?
Between a 1 and a 10, I think I'm a solid 7.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah.
That's C's get degrees.
And the reason being is because I know I'm feeling really good. Because again, it's about that awareness. I know I'm feeling really good.
Yeah.
So when I'm like, oh, I want to get all these things, I'm like, Felicia, don't get it. Don't do it. Because I really don't need it. I just
you just get super excited.
Just happy shop. Woo! For no reason. Then I buy things and then I get them and I'm like, why did I buy this?
What kind of things are you buying?
Man, Temu and Amazon got a chokehold on me.
You know, I haven't looked into
Shame on me for Temu, but
I mean, I always see it on the ads on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like they always seem to have like cool stuff. But I don't know if
I know the quality of it. I'm like,
is the quality good?
No, most of especially the really cheap items, no.
No.
I'd be buying things and I don't ever use it, or I forgot why I bought it. Like I don't even know what it's used for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm at a 7 right now. I'm in a controlled high where I'm feeling good.
That's good.
But I'm not being crazy. I'm not trying to overwhelm myself, because then that also gets me in trouble, because I start stacking on all these things, and when I hit my low, all of it just goes away.
Like you start to book things.
Oh yeah, I book things. I start buying fitness stuff. I go healthy shopping, and then all that stuff spoils. I don't do the fitness things.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it was an interesting.
Well, at least you're aware.
But I think honestly, when they first were trying to diagnose me with it, I was a little reluctant to believe that I had most of the symptoms, so I would lie when they would ask me.
Yeah. You're just like, I want something else, so I'm gonna lie and try to get the
one.
right.
I don't need that one in addition to all the others. So it is what I think I feel a lot more confident now knowing that that's what those are.
So what? Like, are you in like medication or anything?
Yeah,
I
did start a mood stabilizer. Yeah.
Has it worked?
I had to slowly dose into it because there's a side effect that could go haywire. Yeah, but thankfully it didn't. So I actually start the therapeutic dose tomorrow.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Well,
Takes a minute. All medicines take a minute, and
well, good luck.
the thing is, though, last comment about this is what's nice about this medication is if it works well for me, I can start weaning off the others, which is exciting to me because I don't have to take so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because right now I'm on, this would be 4 pills total, in addition to 2 recommended over-the-counter supplements. Yeah.
Have you ever looked into what is it called? Like ketamine therapy?
I have. I read about it. I was looking more into
Just they have like a few in town actually.
No, I do, but I'm really hoping there's maybe like a psilocybin. Is that the
like the mushroom?
The mushroom, the professional term, or the
Yeah, I'm not sure if they have that
term.
here, but
no, they don't.
Ketamine.
But I would prefer that option. They do have therapists that will assist you if you choose that route for therapy or recovery, but they can't prescribe it, obviously, because and I would like a more controlled environment to do it, so I'm not just like I would really like to use it to help and not harm, and I feel like having a professional that can not only help you through the journey but also give you the right dosage would be great. But we're not there yet, hopefully.
But yeah, I guess that's kind of a good segue to today's topic then.
Yes. What are we talking about?
We're talking about building healthy habits.
Healthy habits.
I guess just in general, like healthy habits when it comes to your physical, mental, creative.
Work. Yeah. Creative, career, family.
Yeah, pretty much everything.
Self-care.
Exactly. You said you took notes.
Oh yeah, well I like to be prepared, so I just realized that's who I am.
I know when you texted me this morning, you're like, "What's the topic?" I was just like, "I don't know."
Don't let me run rampant in these streets. So I was just doing some research on ways to build healthy habits because obviously we have our versions of how we attempt to build a healthy habit, but then there are some just I think general tactics that could potentially work for
everybody.
A massive, a good population of people. And one of the ones that I did look up and I do agree with is finding something that is small and simple, which I have a hard time doing.
Explain what that really means.
It's emphasizing the power of small, achievable goals. And so then that particular sentence sent me off on another rabbit hole because for work, which I'm actually presenting this tomorrow, we have a portion of it in personal development where we cover SMART goals. And SMART goals stands for specific, measurable, oh God, I forgot the others. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Okay.
So that particular system we use a lot in my company. Like I have my SMART goal for the year, something that me and my boss discussed that we know is specific enough so I can dedicate the right time, make sure I have the resources, know when the deadlines are, and have a way to measure that success. But again, going back to, emphasizing the power of small is understanding that whatever goal you have, you control the success or failure of it. I truly believe that, because you're deciding at that moment what you can do. And if you do too much, like me, where I'm like, I want to lose 80 pounds, but I want to do it in 4 months. Like, Felicia, that's not going to happen. That's going to take like a whole year, 2 years.
It depends on your attitude. I mean,
no, if you want to do it the right way, so it's sustainable.
You definitely have, like, especially for like weight goals, like you definitely want to do something that's sustainable.
Right. And I think I can have my end goal, right? So my end goal is I want to lose 50, 60, 70 pounds. And to break it down so it's more achievable, like building that habit, is saying, okay, for this month, I'm going to try to lose 4 pounds.
Yeah.
Right? And so now you start thinking, okay, what can I do to try and achieve losing that 4 pounds?
Yeah, it's definitely easier to think it that way, right? We're just talking about the fitness thing. Because when you think like, oh, if I lose 80 pounds in 6 months or between a year, like that seems a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
But if you think about, oh, what if I just like lose a pound a week?
And
like that seems like doable.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's how it should be done, but everyone's so impatient. And the other thing to that too is to lose that amount of weight, that's a drastic change. And I just know with myself that drastic changes work for a very short amount of time and I don't sustain it. So I'm in this cycle. And it's okay if you have to say, okay, this week I'm going to cut out soda. I'm only going to drink water. Right? And then see how you do. Did you maintain it? Was it difficult? Understand how your body reacted. How was your mental state not taking soda? Right? And if you think
probably better.
And then the next week, add something else. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to cut out eating, I don't know, like sugary breakfast, like cereals and stuff. And so again, you're just taking bite-sized amounts of your bigger goal and creating habits that you can sustain, because that's what it is.
Yeah, because I do apply that with the stuff I'm doing, right? When it comes to music, when I come here to the studio, like sometimes like, oh, like I need to make a song when I'm like sitting here, but like that's like a big goal, right? Like finishing a song in like one session is, I mean, it's doable. Sometimes it happens, but for the most part, like I would say like 90% of the time, like that's not the case.
Right.
Sometimes I just sit here and be like, all right, maybe I can just like do a loop or something, like make it small goals. Like as long as I do that thing, that little thing, that one step, it already feels like a win. Even though like, oh, like, man, like it would have been nice if I finished the song.
Right.
But me just like doing like a couple tracks or a couple loops, it already kind of like, I guess, fed my creative juice,
And you have to know too, that's better. Doing whatever, that small amount is still better than not doing anything at all.
Yeah.
Because you're still making that progression towards what that goal is, what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I just saw a post on Instagram today about Steve Jobs talking about, I can't remember that exact quote, but he was talking about like, even like fishermen, like when they don't go out to sea fishing, right? They are back home, like fixing their net or like, like little things that like preparing themselves. Yeah.
Into that.
That's kind of related to your main thing.
Right.
So like, if you think about it that way, like with anything, like you don't have to have such a big, like you don't necessarily have to work on your main thing all the time.
Right.
But if you're doing something that's related to that, that's definitely going to help, because like little things, like it will add up.
Absolutely. And I think also not only making sure you are choosing something that makes sense for your life, but also making sure that whatever you think to be a healthy habit is, that it really is relevant to who you are as a person. right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I love the idea of being like a Pilates girl, but in reality, is that a habit that I could actually start and keep? When I think about my life, it's one, if I want to do Pilates because I don't know how to do it myself, I would have to pay for a membership somewhere, right? I would have to find additional time in my day to go there and commit to it.
Yeah.
Right. And right now, I'm just not in that part of my life where I can do that with everything that I have. So my compromise was doing the Peloton, because the Peloton I have at home. So now I've made it more accommodating to me, because I feel like that's a habit that I can stick to because it's literally in my house.
Do you do that every day?
I haven't been doing it every day.
Felicia.
But you're not meant to do it every day. You don't have to. And again, I think that's the misconception of habits and goals, and I've learned this through therapy, because we think having a habit is somehow equatable to perfection.
Yeah.
And that's not realistic. That's actually the next thing, is consistency over perfection.
Yeah, because so this is my morning habit that I've been doing for, I would say, almost a year now. Yeah, almost a year. So I would basically, right when I wake up, I would stretch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm every single day, even though some days I'm just not in the mood. I'm half asleep. I'm still kind of doing the stretches, just so I can get my day started. And because it actually helped me, because for a while my back was hurting.
Yeah.
Because when you get older, you're just old.
Grandpa.
Yeah, and actually stretching helped me a lot. Sometimes it would still hurt, but
Right.
I feel like it helped me kind of I guess be a little bit more mobile.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially because I stand a lot, I sit a lot, so it's good to just move your body. That might be a good habit for a lot of people too. It only takes 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody has 10 minutes.
Right. And that's the thing about the Peloton too, is yes, the goal is to do it. I don't think I'll ever do it every day. I don't know if that, for me, that would ever be sustainable. The goal is to get on it at least, 4 to 5 times a week. And I want to build the habit where I get up and, I do my morning whatever care. And then I jump on that, and then I finish getting ready. So I kind of want to start almost like this morning ritual.
Yeah.
Where boom, boom, boom. These are the 3 things that I know to do. And again, still make it a habit that I can feel good doing and achieve most of the days.
Yeah, because the funny thing is, when you do it for the first time, like that first week, you're probably I don't want to do this. You're forcing yourself. But then after a month, after a couple months, it becomes such a routine that your body is just so used to it. I would just get up and just start stretching. And it's it doesn't even seem like I don't even really force it anymore.
Right.
Some days I'm a little bit more tired, but it just my body would just really just do it.
Right.
Without having to force myself. And yeah, I guess consistency, right?
Yeah.
Because the more you do it, you just get used to it.
Absolutely. I know there's a saying where it takes 28 days, some amount of number,
28 days to break a habit, or
not
build
to build a habit, maybe break a habit too, but to build a habit. And the idea of that is good, but still that doesn't leave a lot of room for slip ups. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to commit to saying, oh, I'm going to do this for 28 days straight. But the issue for some people like myself is when I slip up, that's very destructive for my mental state.
What if you apply the first half of building the small and the small habit, right? What if you're I'm going to do this for the next week?
Yeah, 7 days.
And just
Like,
just aim for that, like 7 days, like no excuses.
right. And
Just
then
do
try
it,
again.
and then just try it again the next week.
Got it. I like that.
Yeah, instead of like 28 days. 28 days is a lot,
Right.
you know. So
No,
but
absolutely.
yeah.
I think that definitely helps make it less. I don't have another word for it, but less scary.
Right? Like it seems easier if like 7 days,
days?
no
I got
excuses.
this.
Like fuck
Yeah.
it, you know.
Got it.
Um,
No, I like
yeah.
that. That's a good idea. And I just want to say, and the reason why I say it is because my therapist tells me all the time is perfection is not realistic. And one day or one moment, whatever that habit is or whatever you're trying to do to become better, if you miss a day, it's not going to ruin it.
It's not the
Like
end of the world.
don't let that be a complete reset and overhaul.
Yeah.
Where you're like, especially I've had the habit before, and this isn't a good habit, but I'd say, oh, I'm going to start my, eating good on Monday. And so I eat good on Monday, eat good on Tuesday. Wednesday comes along, it's like, shoot, I really want to eat this, whatever, burger or donut. Then I eat the donut. I'm like, God damn it, I messed it up. So now I got to start again, but I'll start again on Monday. So then Thursday to Sunday, I'm eating.
I mean, I feel like that's how people treat like the New Year's resolution.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna wait till New Year's to do all this like good things for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can actually like just do it now or do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. So the third thing was stack new habits onto existing ones. And I've actually heard that. I heard that from Emerson during a tattoo session of mine. And I think we're on the topic of habits or just, trying to, I might have expressed a struggle that I was going through. And she said, start small and then start stacking. So if you do, and I don't have the full description of it, but what it sounds like to me is we'll start super simple. Say, okay, every morning I want to make sure I get up and brush my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you do that for, I don't know, a few days.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're confident, like, okay, I got this. So now I'm going to add on another thing. So brush my teeth, then I'm going to start making sure I wash my face.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do that for X amount of days, right? And then you continue to stack, right? Until you get to this routine that is like, okay, this is something I can do every day.
Yeah. It's kind of like building stacking the small things.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like one small thing and then like another small thing that you add on it. Yeah.
And it makes it, again, those little small things.
Hey, the small wins.
I know,
actually
truly.
is
Because you can really boost your mood and I think your self-esteem if you take the big thing, put it into pieces and just achieve those little pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Because although it'd be great to jump up and have that one big success because I've built all these, wonderful habits, but it still would be nice to be like, hey, I went 7 days not eating candy or I spent 7 days doing photography every day
and I think it's easy to overlook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's such a small win that sometimes we're just like, oh, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, and let's say you do a photo, like, I don't know, you take a picture every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the next year, you've taken 365 freaking photos or like whatever photo sheets, like that's such a big improvement.
Absolutely.
But like when you do it every day, it doesn't feel like you're doing anything.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, I'm doing one photo shoot today. Like, you know what I mean?
That's interesting. I think that's a good point.
Because if you think about when people say like overnight success, it takes
Like
10 years to do overnight success. But people think like, oh, they just blew up out of nowhere, you know?
It takes a lot of repetition.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I've heard a lot of social media people, or I guess content creators, say it looks like I just blew up, but I've been doing this every day for X amount of years.
Exactly.
And then it was that one video and it took off and now this is what I do. And that totally makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right. So we've gone over stacking habits. There's one I can't figure out what I wrote, so don't worry about that one. But this one I like. It's making it fun and rewarding. I think about my son when I think of that.
Yeah.
You know, because yesterday we were getting him, or not we, my husband. My husband was being super dad yesterday and having Keelan clean his room.
Yeah.
And Keelan, just like his mother, we get a little distracted sometimes. And I could tell he was losing focus. And sometimes that gets frustrating because now as the parent, you're repetitive, right? You're a broken record.
Yeah.
I told you to do this. I told you to do this. And I pulled my husband aside and I said, hey, I know this can be frustrating and we're trying to get him to clean. I was like, but we don't have him clean often. And I want to make sure that if we give him this chore, right? So that'd be like a habit.
Yeah.
We give him this chore, that this experience doesn't turn him off from doing that ever again. And he never wants to do it. I was like, but make it fun. I was like, if you turn it into a game, like he loves timers. If you turn it into a game, he'll do it. He'll enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
And so I guess my husband called him and said, hey, I don't know what he said, but my husband came back later and he's like, hey, that worked. He's super excited. And I'm like, yeah, because it's a game now and we made it fun. But you don't really think about doing that for yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't.
But I feel like that makes a lot of sense though. Like if you make things fun, and then, I feel like rewarding is a little bit different too. But just thinking about making things fun, instead of taking it such as like a serious thing.
Yeah, like don't make it dreadful.
Yeah, like me doing the podcast, right? Like, yes, the process, like me editing, that's kind of like, a pain in the ass. But
Yeah.
like if I think about it, like, oh, I just get to sit here and talk to my friends. Like,
Right.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
So like everything that you do, just kind of make it, I guess, in your own way,
Yeah.
like a game.
Kind of change your perspective if you need to.
Yeah.
I even think about, again, when because I am actively, I really want to lose weight. But when you think about following a certain type of eating or doing all these strenuous workouts, like for me, that becomes exhausting. And so I think this would really come into play and say, okay, what sounds fun to me?
Mm-hmm.
And I know I talk about it all the time, but Stray Kids. I love listening to Stray Kids while I'm on the bike over watching the actual videos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fun. I get to wake up in the morning, put my headphones on, listen to the music that gives me joy. And
that's why I always have music on while I take the shower, just because like it's, I'm listening to music and I'm kind of like vibing in the shower. So like it makes it more fun.
Right.
But like when it goes to like rewards too, right? Let's say you do something like a little bit more difficult. Like what if you reward yourself?
Yeah.
For me, like I guess I would do it kind of like subconsciously. Like I would sometimes when I'm editing, like when I'm exporting things, right? It takes a little bit,
Right.
When I'm exporting a video, it takes like freaking, few minutes.
Right.
But I don't want to just like sit here and not do anything.
Yeah.
So like I would reward myself like, oh, maybe I'll watch a YouTube video while it's exporting. So it's like I'm in my head, I'm like, all right, I guess progressing, right? Because I'm actually doing work. I'm exporting a video.
Yeah.
But like in my mind, I'm just like, I can just watch.
Yeah, you get a little break.
Yeah, I get a break, watch a YouTube video, and it's.
Maybe that's what my son was doing earlier because he kept saying he was taking breaks. I'm like, stop taking breaks. Okay, you crazy mom. And I'm like, wait, breaks are good for you.
Yeah, rewarding himself.
You should take a break. You're right. That's cute. I love that. All right, Keelan, take all your breaks. Take your breaks. Unless it's like every minute. Sometimes I feel like it is. No, I like that. It does make it a little bit more palatable, especially when you're trying to achieve something big. And I think it also makes you, to recognize that you are, I guess, giving yourself a reward. Like that feels good.
It does.
And I feel like that gives you a different type of high. You know what I mean?
It really does, honestly.
It just feels good.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, shit, I did that.
Yeah, because honestly, like, so I've been coming here every day for the week, right? And there were a few days where just like I didn't feel like making music.
Right.
So I was like, all right, maybe I'm kind of behind on like podcast clips. So I was just like cutting clips and like exporting it. And then exporting takes time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just want to watch whatever was on YouTube, you know, that I was like really wanted to watch. And I'm just like, oh, even though like seems like I'm like not doing anything. But in my mind, it's like, oh, I'm exporting clips. I'm doing work.
Right.
You know? So it's definitely gave me that high of me, I guess, progressing.
Right. And I think that also gives you balance.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, because you need those little pauses sometimes to just take a breather, even if it's a 3-minute YouTube clip, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It just kind of takes you out of it a little bit.
Yeah, and it's fun, you know?
That made me think of something else, but that was related to content creating. Darn it.
What?
No, I was going to say we were talking about content creation and like you recording yourself and then me recording photo shoots. And I said, I was thinking that part of the issue there, though, is it just pulls you out of that element.
It does.
And so it's kind of like, is what you're doing truly genuine?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because honestly, when I'm recording a session, right, of making music, it does kind of pull you out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it feels
like you gotta think about something else.
Yeah, because you know the camera's on, so there's a little bit of pressure, and it seems like I have to kind of perform.
Right.
When normally if there's nothing, if there's no camera, like I'm just like super like just in the zone.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just I don't know, but I mean, it's a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Like we're doing something that requires social media,
right,
and requires content creation, and I mean we chose this, so like
that's true.
we got to play the game.
Damn it. Anyways, I don't want to get sidetracked. That was my welcome to my brain. Another one is focus on identity, not outcomes. I didn't really look into that one. So shift the focus to becoming someone who embodies the habit. So example is I'm a runner versus I need to run 3 miles today.
Yeah, I mean, for my example, me stretching every day, right? The first week, it felt like I had to do it, and like it doesn't feel like it was me because, you know, just like I need to do this because because whatever my reason is, and then after a while, it just became like, oh, I do this every day. Like this is me now.
I'm
like,
a stretcher.
I'm a stretcher. Like. Even though it's like not really, you know, just like regular stretches.
Right. No, yeah.
Like it's not a big deal.
Or I care for myself.
Exactly. But it becomes that routine for me that is like.
It's a part of who you are.
Yeah. It's like I can't do anything else.
Your identity.
The only time I didn't do it is when I went to Japan just because like it was just different.
Yeah. It's time difference for sure.
And then like, because like I do it at home. I have a yoga mat at home.
Nice.
So like I just, yeah. And I didn't have a yoga mat in Japan. I mean, like I could have stretched, but like I don't know.
Been on the I was floor, like, JERiCK.
Yeah, I was just like, fuck yeah, I'm on vacation. I'm like giving myself a break.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, enjoy yourself.
But yeah, I do agree that like it becomes who you are. Like when you're a photographer, like you don't really think about like, oh, like I want to be like you're just a photographer. Like, I don't know how else to explain it.
I can see that, but I do think there's a fine line, or there's like an unfortunate line that some of us cross because we want photography to be such a business that you do end up doing it to complete tasks or to get money or to get clients versus owning who you are as that artist.
But then that's
separating yourself in a sense.
That's you identifying what type of photographer you are.
Oh, exactly. That's who I am. That's very true. I know. I was thinking that came to mind.
You are, I guess, more of the creative and not such a like, commercial photographer.
Yeah. So and I think I've had a hard time coming to terms with that because again, I would love photography to be my full-time gig. You know, that's something that I do. And I feel like it's a lot more achievable if I go the commercial route. But then I feel
financially is definitely makes more
absolutely.
sense.
And I feel like though in the process, I'm going to lose my love for photography or why I want to do it.
Yeah.
So right now I'm still trying to balance, like I'm still taking clients, but I make sure it's intentional. And then I'm in the background trying to figure out if I just want to do my own projects, right? What does that look like? And how do I profit off of that? So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, because I'm honestly in the same boat when it comes to music. It's because I love music so much that I just want to like try out everything, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to make electronic music, I want to make pop, I want to make hip hop, R&B. Like so I'm
you
just
wanna
like
be
deciding like
straight
I don't know, like basically like I don't know what to make.
Right.
Is because like sometimes I just get in a mood like, oh man, like this R&B just sounds so good. Like I want to make something like this, and then I listen to something else. I'm like, man, like this is kind of dope. Like I guess like I could just combine everything, and just like be like a melting pot of whatever.
Well, I think you could probably take that same idea of choosing small
Elements.
So if you're listening to a song, right, I'm sure because you are, you know, an artist for music, that you're picking apart that song, and there's a reason why you like that song in R&B. So then, okay, so you have that song in R&B and you've extracted an element from that, and then you look at something else, and whenever you're listening to hip hop, and you know, there's going to be some elements you like from that, and then I think that'll kind of help identify the sounds that you like. And then when you put it all together, even though it seems like a mix, it's not like 100% of each different
like it
genre.
becomes like something new.
Yeah, it's something that you like to hear. So now when you listen to your music, all of it makes sense and it feels like who you are.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's why like my second album is definitely kind of a mixture of that, where like it felt like R&B hip hop mix with like a little bit like electronic music. So it's like a combination of both.
Yeah, honestly, I loved like some of the mixes that I've listened to on SoundCloud, Spotify.
Oh, like my
I've loved how you've brought in like some classic, what I consider like music that I grew up listening to, and then pulling that into a more like electronic world where I never saw myself listening to that. And then I was like on a freaking stretch with that mix. I was listening to that
you did
like
listen
every
for
day.
it for a while. That's good.
I should probably go back to that. But yeah, and again, like I think that's the beauty of being who you are, because even if it doesn't seem like nobody cares now, there's going to be people like me who are like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm listening to this and I'm listening to that and I really like it.
Yeah, because I think
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense though, because a lot of the artists that you really like is they combine a lot of like different elements from different, you know, every influence that they have, they're just combining it to be them.
Right.
Regardless of it's music, if it's photography, whatever.
Definitely true.
And like same with us too. Like you like certain things and you're like, oh, I want to implement that to my next project.
Oh no, absolutely.
Yeah, I guess like because I think we are kind of programmed to like, oh, stay in one box.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like I'm kind of like fighting it, and then at the same time it's like, man, if I really want to make an R&B, like I have to make that kind of R&B, you know, instead of my R&B.
Be you.
Exactly. I mean, that's
who is that? You.
I like that. Yeah.
All right. And then the last one that I have here is anticipate and plan for obstacles. So discuss strategies for your habits, staying on track when life gets tough. Example, having backup plans for days that are maybe too busy and you can't fit in your normal routine or the things that you wanted to consider a daily habit. or for times you have low energy, maybe you're sick, you know? And then the last one is success is about preparation, and it talks about perfection. Success is about preparation, not perfection. Yeah, see, that's a hard one to follow sometimes because I think you got to be perfect. And then perfect actually makes it worse sometimes.
Yeah, but then what's perfect, right?
Exactly. Well, I think we all have our own perception or view of what perfect looks like, but it's like somebody who doesn't mess up, who can...
Let me ask you this. So, like, when you decide that when you edit photos, you know, after your shoot, like, at one point, when do you decide that, oh, this is good, this is done?
When
like, this is gonna come out, you know, this is gonna go to the client, it's gonna be on social media. Like, at one point, what is it that, yeah, this is done?
I think when I have a good feeling, like a happy feeling, I'm like, ooh,
like, this
like
is
it feels good. Like I take a breath and I'm like,
do you think
digesting it?
When you look at it that way, do you think it's perfect, or is it just like, this is good enough?
I don't think that's a good question. I don't think I've ever in the moment thought if I was thinking it about perfection.
Right.
But I did think of it as, wow, this is really good.
Yeah, because I think we say perfection, but I don't think we necessarily aim for that.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think we always aim for like, all right, I'm so happy with whatever this is.
Yeah, it's a feeling.
Like, this is done. Like, this is it. Like, no more changes. I mean, because like when you look at it years from now, you're gonna look back and be like, man,
I know,
like,
that was late.
I probably should have like did more than that. But then it's just like, that's a year experience. You know?
That's an amazing, I think, achievement for where you were in that moment.
Exactly. Like, at that point in time, that was the best you could do.
Yeah.
And like, when we say, because like, I don't necessarily, I guess I don't really aim for perfection. I aim for, like, you're right, like the feeling. Like, this is it. Like, this feels good. This is done. Like, because yeah, when I'm working on music, until it gets to that point, like, I'm like, no, that's not it. It's not it. It's not it. And then like, I do little fixes here and there, and yeah, I think
you're like, that's it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just like, when I hear it for the last time, at least at that very moment, like, this is it. Like, this is done.
Right.
Yeah, like, it's ready.
Yeah, I like that. I like thinking, especially when it comes to the artist or creative side, is thinking about associating your outcome with an emotion and your happiness or sadness, because there's some things that I do create where I intentionally want someone to feel sad or make them question, but it's like an emotion I'm trying to elicit.
Do you know who Rick Rubin is? He's like a very well-known producer.
I feel like Anthony's gonna be mad if I don't know this person.
Yeah, he probably would be.
I don't know that.
Yeah. So he's like a very big producer. And one of his podcasts, or like his interviews, he was talking about the audience should be the last thing in your mind when you're creating your art.
I like it.
Yeah, because sometimes we think about like, oh, are they gonna like this? You know, but it's your art. You're the tastemaker.
Right.
You decide what is good and what is not.
Yeah.
And then, because you have no control of how people would react to it. So
it's true. And I think that's why I really struggle with the commercial side to photography.
Why?
Because your work is dependent on what the other person feels.
I mean, that's fair, but then it's also, they decided that you were the right person to do their photo shoot. They could have hired somebody else, but they saw your photos and be like, oh, that's the photo I want. So,
and I 100% agree with that, but I think I need to do better at conveying that if you saw my work and you liked my work from my work, that's the outcome you're going to get. Because I think what my experience has been is people say, oh, I love your work. I love what you do.
Something else.
But then I do exactly what I did, and it's like, oh, I don't like that, or I don't like the color of that, like the color grading, because a lot of my color grading ends up being very like white, or not white, I'm sorry, like more cool tones. And there's
Instead of, like, warm.
there's a lot of population who prefer more of like the warm tones, but to me, that's not what I do, unless it calls for, like, if I'm trying to do a setting and it needs for that. But I think as the client, they also get confused on what it is to say, oh, I like your work versus I like your work because it looks like you know what you're doing. So I'm going to hire you so you can do what I want to do.
Yeah, but then that becomes their problem, right? It's like, why? So, like, for me, if I'm thinking about hiring somebody, right? Like, when I look at somebody's work, I would hire somebody that would do, like, let's say I like certain, like, photo shoot, just, for example. Like, I want that style exactly. Like, I'm going to hire that person because I want that exact style or photos. Like, I'm not going to hire a person and be like, oh, that style, but then I have this idea in my head that, like, totally different from their style,
but
like,
that's you, and that's what I'm saying. I think it's a mixture of me not conveying enough of what the outcome would be, and then them not truly understanding what they mean. Because you're right. If you're gonna hire somebody, you hire somebody because you like the look, the aesthetic, or whatever. But I've literally come across a situation where it's like, oh, I love your work. And then I do the editing and I send it. And then it's like, oh, but I loved it when it was like this, or blah, blah, blah. And the change was I just color graded how I did. And, but if you don't like the way those look, then you're not going to like the photo. It's just been interesting. And I appreciate all of those experiences because it does help me understand what I need to do better.
I think I don't necessarily have to, like, be better. I think you need to step away from the outcome. It's just, I think you take it too, like, personal.
Well, when I say be better, I mean be better in communicating.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to change how I do my art.
Yeah.
That, like, to me, that's like, if I have to change it after I edited it, that's no longer my work because I wouldn't put that out.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's just, I want to be better at letting people know, like, hey, let's really discuss this. This is my work. So this is what you're going to get. Do you want this? And if they don't, goodbye.
Yeah. I mean, just, like, be upfront about it. At least it's, like, in the initial, like, before you do the shoot, know? But then it's, like, when it's, like, post-shoot and editing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, like, hey, fuck it. Like, some clients are just, like, I don't know. Some clients are just more difficult than others. Because I've had clients before where they just, like everything that I do, right? And then, like, there's no feedback or anything. And I'm like, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they hired me to do. So, like, hey, if they're happy with whatever I gave them, like, it's not, like, sometimes even, like, I do things that I wouldn't necessarily do. But if, like, that's what they want, I'm like, hey, you're the one paying me.
Yeah.
So it's, but, like, when it comes to my project, like, I definitely, like, personalize it a lot more.
I know. And that's what I like. That's the habit I want to build. Is do my projects. My projects only.
Hey, I mean, honestly, it's such a healthier point when you just get to do whatever you want to do.
I truly believe that.
Yeah, I guess to end this podcast, I mean, we've been talking for like an hour. What are the habits what are the healthy habits? We've talked about all these.
Oh, I know.
Like, what are you going to do for yourself, Felicia?
Well, I don't think I'm necessarily at a point where I want to add more habits. One of the ones of which I'm really proud of is I've been keeping it with my skincare.
Hey.
So I've been doing a really solid morning routine and a really solid night routine, and I just want to do that for the rest of forever, because
Hey, you look good today.
I don't want to age.
You're glowing.
Thanks. Korean skincare, thank you.
Felicia had her makeup today. I was just like,
I do.
Felicia looks
I got my
good.
cheeks on. But another thing too that I just want to keep reminding myself is I'm going to have those days where I'm just out of it. But what I've been doing really good at is, instead of completely breaking the habit, is I'll do a simpler version. So I have quite a few things that I layer on because I'm trying to like, don't age, But when I'm not feeling it, I'm like, Felicia, just do the basics. Like wash your face and put lotion on. It's okay. And I will feel better about doing that than skipping it, because then I'll get upset if I skip it because I have that perfection mentality.
Yeah.
But I'm like, just make it simple. But I do want to commit to, and we can check in next time.
If you actually did it.
I know. I want to build that morning habit where, like I said, I get up, I get on the Peloton.
Just do it for the week.
Brush my teeth because I
starting,
can't survive.
Starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday.
Okay.
So do
tomorrow.
Let's see if you can do it.
I may not be able to do it in the morning, though. So I won't commit to a time, but I will say I want to get on the bike for 30 minutes.
There you go. Every day.
5 days.
A week. It's
5
2 days more. It's 2 days more.
Fine, I'll do 7 days.
Okay. I might ask you again next week.
Okay, I'll do 7 days.
You don't have to do it in the morning.
I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to time lapse me on this.
Yeah, there you go. Because like you need to hold yourself accountable. Like you can do 7 days.
That's just it. The reason why I said 5 is because just with like therapy and stuff, you start to realize what tends to be more overwhelming for you, so you do things to make sure that you can achieve it before you like overdo it.
You can achieve it. You can do it.
Do I want to?
It's all mindset. It's your
I know
how you're.
I know, but I just want to make sure I have healthy mindset, and I don't, because again, part of that destructive side is I overdo things and then I don't sustain it.
You said 5 days, like. I mean, do it 5 days in a row. I mean, and then,
And then after 5 days, I'll do 5 more days.
Exactly. If that makes it easier for you, if you're thinking about
chunks,
splitting it in 5 instead of 7, then
Yeah. Because at some point, again, with all habits, it becomes your identity.
Yeah.
So at some point, I'm going to be like, screw this every 5 day thing. I'm just going to do it because I like to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it becomes a habit where you're just like, fuck it, like the bike's there. I'm just going to freaking get on it,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. So
what about you? What's yours? Me's on the Peloton, 30 minutes a day.
What habit would I do? Let's see. Wait, what were we going to ask?
No, I wasn't going to ask. I was going to suggest something, but I don't want to do that.
Go say it.
No, you do it. You say.
Maybe it'll spark something.
I was going to say, because we're thinking about music, is you should listen to a new song or a new like type of music every day and like write down what you liked or what you didn't like.
Ooh. Okay, I'm going to do that.
Kind of like almost like a little research-ish type.
All right, I'm going to do that for 7 days.
Okay. All right, I'll do 7 days on Peloton.
Right. I'm going to do 7 days. So I'm going to listen to, you said different genres?
Yeah, different genres or different artists.
Okay.
And try to listen to things that you haven't listened to before.
Okay. All right, I'll do that. And then I'm going to take notes of the elements that I like. And I guess I'm not going to do a full breakdown, but just
yeah.
Snippets. Because I've been doing that for like the last week or so. I've been listening to like a lot of K-pop R&B actually. Just because I've just been in like an R&B mood. I'm going to suggest an artist too. Like you might like Cold.
Cold?
Yeah, okay. COLDE.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, I'll send you some. You have Apple Music, right? Okay, I'll send you some albums and music to check out.
Okay.
But yeah, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna listen to music every day, at least like new artists that I've never listened to before, and give it a try.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And we'll report back next week. And then for our viewers, you should do something too. You should write down in the comments.
Yeah, please comment down below.
A small habit, remember, achievable, small, make it fun.
Yeah, I guess let's make it a challenge.
We'll do it
Make it a
together.
game, you know?
Yeah.
7 days, something. You can choose whatever you want to do for 7 days.
Yeah.
Comment down below. And then, let's
Make sure
just,
it's a healthy something though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Don't
Something.
start any bad habits.
Yeah, no bad habits. Just,
Only great ones.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Hopefully you guys
Build those
like
habits.
this podcast, the new setup. I don't know if this is going to be permanent, but for now, this is going to be how it is.
Setup's gonna take off.
Yeah, I guess. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace.